They didn't fall for the narrative that Africa's poorest nations are doomed to rely on foreign aid and loans. Instead, they turned to their people and markets. In a region often defined by its dependence on Western financial support, Burkina Faso rewrote the script. But how did this small, landlocked country, often written off as a financial basket case, manage to pull off such a monumental feat? How did Burkina Faso pay off nearly $5 billion in debt, all while navigating a volatile political and security landscape? The answer lies in a series of calculated strategic moves that turned domestic debt into an economic lifeline. The first key strategy that allowed Burkina Faso to pay off its debt was a complete shift in the way it approached financing. Instead of relying on foreign loans or aid from Western institutions, Burkina Faso turned inward. The government issued bonds to local investors, businesses, banks, and individuals within the country who had been growing increasingly confident in the country's leadership and economic prospects. At first glance, it might seem counterintuitive for a country facing economic challenges, including security threats from insurgent groups, to encourage domestic borrowing. But Burkina Faso's leadership recognized that a growing sense of national pride and unity, combined with an evolving financial infrastructure, created the perfect storm for tapping into local markets. By issuing government bonds on the local market, Burkina Faso created a channel through which domestic investors could directly fund the country's debt repayment. This strategy was rooted in trust. Burkina Faso's leadership cultivated a sense of confidence in their ability to manage the country's financial future. As the government promoted fiscal discipline and a commitment to infrastructure development, local investors were more willing to lend to their nation. Burkina Faso was no longer dependent on foreign markets or international banks, but instead relied on the financial strength of its people. This move helped shift the national mindset, from a reliance on foreign aid to a belief in homegrown solutions. The results were staggering. Investor confidence soared, and Burkina Faso managed to tap into an untapped domestic resource, local capital. By focusing on this strategy, Burkina Faso showed that local debt can be a powerful tool for self-sufficiency.
That's why dialogue like the one today is very important in terms of a common understanding of governance. The attitude of adult supervision has to be left in the past.
One of the most impressive aspects of Burkina Faso's debt repayment strategy was the government's ability to maintain investor confidence despite the country's turbulent political and security environment. The threat of terrorism and the ongoing conflict in the Sahel region had put significant strain on the country. Yet Burkina Faso's leadership navigated these challenges with skill, maintaining a stable financial environment that allowed them to continue issuing bonds and raising funds domestically. In a country where instability often leads to economic flight, where investors typically flee in fear of conflict, Burkina Faso did the opposite. The government took steps to ensure that its bond market remained attractive to investors. The Prime Minister and his team emphasized transparency, clear fiscal management, and a commitment to reducing the national debt. They proved to investors that even amid the crisis, Burkina Faso had the resilience and
Firstly, different African countries have paid off their debts. They paid off $1.79 trillion. That's amazing. Other African countries take leave of that and be debt free. That dependency on foreign powers have been short-lived. Having cleared all their debt and raising bonds. They raised by raising bonds to the local citizens, buying bonds. They made the money and they cleared all their debt. It's amazing. Different African countries to be free, debt free. They are. Nigeria should borrow from that Burkina Faso and be debt free. If you are debt free, you can do and undo. They have resources. Neither resources can do it all for them. What channel I like? On Society channel. Thank you. God bless.